Good afternoon, everybody. We are here at the varsity field number 2. First to be a bat will be the CPI Crusaders. We're going to look at the game between Bloem Bombers and CPI Crusaders. On the side of the Bloem Bombers, we will see Elvin Potgieter, Tommy Kok, Eddie Engelbrecht, Hendrik Brits, Perry Lambrecht, Paul Welgemoed, Henny Skeepers, and Johan Coetzee. On the side of the CPI Crusaders, we will see Albertus Geldenhuys, David Cremore, Donovan Young, Pieter Beekman, John Ray Nieuwoud, Corney Boysen, Wayne Pinaar, and Johannes Becker. And there's something additional today to the game. You will see in the back there is a gazebo, purple gazebo with 2 flags on the sides. That is a gazebo of Royal Finance, cash and term loans. Now they've got an option for every player that hits a 6 and hits that gazebo will get 100 rand. So let's see how many people will be able to hit that, and that will make the game a little bit more exciting today. We've got a slight breeze coming from the Tempe end, and if we look at, we don't see the Bloem Bombers on the pitch yet. They'll probably be rocking up now. But we've got a slight breeze coming from the Tempe end. It's a little bit cool. I'm not exactly sure what the temperature is now, but it must be in the single digits. Maybe around about 4 or 5. So it's slightly cool. But the skies are clear, and we're going to have a lovely day actually as soon as the sun starts warming up the pitch. You will also see that there are mats on the pitch. Now, those of you who haven't seen our previous matches, that is something that is standard during the winter leagues, where the pitches are covered with like a plastic kind of mat or synthetic mat. It just helps the people from slipping on it. I'm not exactly sure how effective it is, but it protects the pitch. Because in Bloemfontein, especially in Bloemfontein, our weather is a lot different in the winter than in the summer. We are experiencing the extremes, so yeah, it protects in the winter. It is not supposed to be a winter raining season. It's not supposed to be raining in the winter in Bloemfontein, but lately we are having a bit of rain, and yeah, it's something not usual to our weather, but everything is changing. And we see that the batsmen of the Bloem Bombers are now approaching the pitch. Hopefully the overlay will indicate soon who is coming up. And how many people will be able to hit that gazebo on the other side? That's being put up by Royal Finance, cash and term loans. Every batsman hitting a 6, hitting that gazebo, earns himself 100 rand. There you go. Overlay is on. Seems like everything is going well for a change today, which is good news for us. Lift it a little bit. There you go. And I'll be switching between Afrikaans and English intermittently. And we see Johannes Becker approaching. So it's just being knocked back. Is it going to be a 4? Seems like there wasn't enough speed behind that ball, so it's not going to make the boundary. And the Bloem Bombers are still running. People at the pitch now is Tommy Kok and Elvin Potgieter. Both these players already got a few player of the match awards in the past, so let's see what are they going to do today. Johannes Becker. Ooh, that was close. Really close. natuurlijk nou gaan die kolwer gaan nie die sommer 'n 6 slaan na die gazebo toe agterom nie. Tensy die bowlers baie vinniger bal. Anders gaan dit nie sommer gebeur nie, tensy hy 'n ander tipe hou speel wat ons nie van gewoond is om te sien nie. Maar sodra die 10 balbeurte oor is en hulle ruil, dan gaan ons heel waarskynlik baie meer probeer slaas sien om daai gazebo raak te slaan. En dis Johannes Bekkers wat aankom. Besluit eerder om nie 'n loopie te hardloop van daardie spel nie. Soos ons vroeër genoem het, die golfplat is bedek met 'n mat. Hy verander die toestand so klein bietjie, die wip van die bal is bietjie anders. En natuurlik die kolwers het elkeen 'n gevoel oor of die bowlers is almal maar hulle verskillende gevoelens oor of die mat nou vir hulle werk of nie. Maar een ding is verseker, een ding wat nie vir niemand werk nie, is dat hulle kry nie spin op daardie ons het 'n oproep gekry. En dit lyk as ons te veel gemis het. Die Tommy Kok en Alvin Potgieter is nog steeds op die golfplat met Donovan Young wat bal. Dit is nou al die tweede balbeurt in die wedstryd. En Donovan man sy net 'n enkel loopie van daai ene. Soos ons vroeër genoem het, is in Engels uitgesaai dat die sal seker net 'n bietjie nader oog wat julle nou nie gaan kan sien nie. Die gazebo, persgazebo wat julle sien nader kom. Hy word geborg deur Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. Hulle het maak die spel vandag 'n klein bietjie meer opwindend deur vir elke kolwer wat hom met 'n 6 raak slaan. Ek praat nou van die gazebo. Kry R100 geborg deur Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. Dit is net 'n enkel loopie wat gaan toegelaat word van hierdie balbeurt of daai spel. Natuurlik ook dan die Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans wat vir die Bloem Bombers borg. En dan in die CPI Crusaders se kant is dit natuurlik CPI wat hulle borg. Hulle het ook vir Good Burger wat hulle borg. Ons sal 'n bietjie meer van hulle borgskappe sien in die toekoms. Hulle het ook gevra dat as hulle elke keer speel, dat hulle opsie het om te livestream. So hulle gaan bygevoeg word. We're looking at the projected score now of 90. We are pretty sure that Bloem Bombers will be scoring a lot more than that. Taking it a bit easy in the initial stages of the game. We haven't seen any boundaries yet. People are warming up in the school weather. And it's Johannes Bekker bowling his second over. Just playing that one safe. Looking around the field, we can see the field is with a lot of concentration on the faces. Uiteindelijk laat any boundary come past them unnecessarily. And we can see that run rate or that projected score dropping now to 83 from 90. But we can expect Bloem Bombers to start getting the boundaries soon. And they had a brilliant game about 2 weeks ago. They finished their innings with a home run. Now, obviously, a home run means that you hit a six from the last ball of the innings, and that counts as 12 points. Oh, that's a big swing, but it was missed. Can only imagine that Tommy Cock would probably feel that he's lucky that that didn't hit his stumps. Oh, just playing it safe, going for a single run, going for a second. Will they make it? Will they try a third? No. They're not going to risk it. And again, it's Tommy Cock on strike. Now discussing some strategy. And they've changed. Now it's Alvin Potgieter on strike. And Donovan Young approaching. That's a better shot. Both batsmen are going to be safe. Also a better shot, a safe one. Just going to get a single run from that delivery, and yeah, Donovan keeping it tight, working that ball. You see Bloem Bombers keeping it safe, just getting the rhythm for now. Pretty sure that when we hit the 5 overs, I might probably start opening up a little because I've got all the wickets on hand. I'm not sure if maybe I've heard that from the fielders. They encouraging Donovan Young to keep bowling like that, not allowing any loose balls to. And that's another wicket that's up in the air. It's not going to be good or good. It's full in no man's land. And the ball is being returned to the wicket keeper. First time we saw that ball getting a little bit of air. Because that ball's airtime is being now going into the deficit. We can only hope for it to see a lot more air during the rest of the game. We're sprinting towards the boundaries. And we can see that the fielders, even they aren't, they're not on the boundaries yet. Maybe one or two. But the rest are closer, or they're starting to go back now. In the 4th over, expecting boundary shots to come through now. That's a better shot. Being fielded right here in front of us. Now obviously that the CPI Crusaders are expecting boundaries to come through now. And Becker bowling. Oh, that was close. al die bowlers van die CPI Crusaders nou bal, wat nou baie reguit lyn bal. En wil verhoed dat enige losballe deurkom om grenshoue te veroorsaak. Mense wat nou net inskakel, aan die oorkant sal jy sien, daar is 'n persgazebo wat so in die middel van die skerm is. Dit is die gazebo van Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans wat Bloem borg, en hulle het R100 op die spel gesit vir elke batsman wat 'n 6 slaan, of elke kolwer wat 'n 6 slaan, reguit in die gazebo vas. Maar dis enkel lopies wat nou die orde van die dag is. Enkels en dubbels. Maar dit is die CPI Crusaders veldwerkers wat nou verwag dat daar meer grenshoue gaan deurkom. Hulle het uitbeweeg, maar hulle is baie beraad op enige iets wat na hulle kant toe kom. Gaan hulle gaan vir 'n dubbel? Nee, dit lyk nie so nie, hulle gaan dit nie waag nie. Wel, as jou veldwerkers op die grense staan, dan kan jy seker nou maar jou enkel en jou dubbellopies hardloop. Natuurlik ook vandag wat 'n bietjie koeler is, so dit is ook 'n uitstekende manier om bietjie warm te raak. Bietjie meer rond te hardloop, bietjie sprint te oefen. Maar ons sien Tommy Cook met 11 lopies van 13 balle en Alvin Potgieter 6 lopies van 9 balle, wat glad nie iets is wat in hulle kussie van, kom ons sê, uitslaa is, wat hulle bære nie. Hulle is gewoond aan maklik meer dubbel lopies te hê van die aantal balle wat hulle ontvang het. Maar dit is iets wat binnekort kan verander, sodra hulle begin grenshoue slaan. En dit is iets waarvoor ons nou wag. En ons is nou by die 5de balbeurt, wat natuurlik gaan beteken dat heel waarskynlik die Bloem Bombers gaan nou meer sulke ouens aan uit is. Gaan dit sê, nee, dit gaan nie 'n 4 wees, hierdie bal het hoog in die lug deurgegaan, maar dit word, hy het net nie die spoed gehad om by die grens verby te gaan nie. Veldwerkers wat so bietjie teleurgesteld in homself is, uiteindelik, hoe gaan dit vir hom nie? Maar dit is nie 'n grenshou nie. Eerste keer wat die bal so bietjie lig gekry het vir 'n slag in die wedstryd. En dit is natuurlik Tommy Cook en Alvin Potgieter wat nou aan die kolfbeurt is. Hulle behoort nou al hulle oog in te kry na 5 balbeurte en die gate in die verdediging van CPI Crusaders op te soek. Tussen die spelers deur te speel. En as daar nog een wat in die lug is, gaan dit 'n 6 wees. Dit is 'n briljante 6 teen die bord vas en dit is geslaan deur Tommy Cook. Hy wat begin oopmaak. Hoopelik gaan daar baie meer van hom kom, net soos ons voorspel het. In die 5de balbeurt gaan daar bietjie meer aksie kom. En baie mooi 6 deur Tommy Cook. Na nog so 5 balbeurte van nou af gaan die spel draai. Dan sal aan die ander kant toe gekom word. Daar gaan ons meer spelers begin sien wat na daardie gazebo toe slaan om hulle R100 te kry van Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. Maar vir nou eers, dit is nou eers die wedstryd wat nou belangrik is. En ons sien sommer weer Tommy Cook wat sy puntetelling dadelik weer in die positiewe ingegaan het van 19 lopies van 17 balle, wat beteken hy het al in positief gegaan, so hy beweeg nou in die regte rigting. Alvin Potgieter behoort ook binnekort Dit is wat ons redelik verwag van hom. Ons weet hy kan dit doen. En dit is iets wat die CPI Crusaders definitief gaan probeer stuit. Iets wat hulle glad nie van hou nie. En daar is nog 'n bal in die lug. Gaan hy 'n 4 wees? Hy hardloop na die grens toe. Hy word gekeer voor hy die grens gaan tref. En die bal word teruggegooi. Baie mooi gestop deur CPI Crusaders. En dit is Johannes Becker aan die balbeurt. Die bal is reg deur Alwin Potgieter. Flou so 'n bietjie die balkiewagter en veroorsaak 'n enkel loopie. En dis nou Tommy Kok wat sal graag daardie verskil tussen die aantal balle en lopies sal vergroot in die regte rigting. Becker wat aantree. Dis weer 'n groot skoot. Gaan dit gaan nie die amper seker kantlyn, maar dit het nie die grens gehaal nie. Hoog in die lug en opgegaan, maar net so afgekom en dood gaan val op die grond. And a bit of a breeze kicking up again. Another ball being shot to the boundaries, not going to make it. Fielding in its way. And the breeze is picking up from behind us. So after 4 more overs when the game changes, we will see it will only help the batsman carry that ball to that gazebo on the other side. And the projected scores has jumped up to 97 once again. We can only speculate that they would like that score to be, the chasing score to be at around maybe 120, 130 at least. And we should see a lot more action from the 15th over. Both these teams are experienced teams. We've been in this situation a lot of times. You might have seen on our social media that we've posted almost everywhere about the Club 100 players. There's like 46 or 47 players in the Club 100, and that means there's 47 people that has played 100 matches or more. There's also 3 players in the Club 200 and 2 players in the Club 300. And that is Arthur Creer and Sean Hickley both scoring playing more than 300 matches for LMS cricket. Obviously, if we also count the amount of matches they've played in their entire career or lives, that will be a lot more. Because I also played club cricket and school cricket, varsity cricket. Yeah, and then here in Bloemfontein, action cricket as well. It's a place where a lot of these people are going to train during the week. Because it's a roof, so they don't care about the weather. They can concentrate on training their hand speed, hand-eye coordination, all those kind of things. But for now, it's Donovan Young bowling. Not even a single run coming from that delivery. Working that ball. Not exactly sure how much swing they will be able to get on that ball playing on these mats. but I can always try. And that one is missed by the wicket keeper. It's racing to the boundary, but it's not going to make it. It's stopped before, and it's being thrown back to the wicket keeper. And it looks like only a single run coming from that delivery. And if you look on your left down on your screen, you will see the sponsors of this match. That will be CPI and Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. They are sponsoring the live stream of this match. A bit of excitement there as well. Ball getting a bit of air, but it's falling in no man's land. Not being caught. There's no player close to it, but it fell in such a way that it's not rolling anywhere. Donovan keeping it tight. You can see that Tommy Cock is still on the positive side of the gap between amount of balls received and amount of runs scored. Alvin Potgieter, he'll be looking to do the same shortly. And we are in the 8th over, which means we are almost halfway through the first innings. And the score is on 36 for the loss of 0 wickets. And the projected score of 90 runs. Just slice that ball away, going through for a single run. Fielders have to come all the way from the boundary to come and collect that ball. Nothing coming from that. Pieter Beekman continuing Alvin Potgieter's line and length. Oh, and Bomb is not going to risk that run. It's one thing to be caught, totally another thing to be run out. And it's Alvin Potgieter on strike. Oh, it's another big shot. It's not going to make the boundary. There's a fielder in his way. Being stopped and returned to the bowler. It looks like that was over for Pieter Beekman. And Albertus Gelden is coming to see if he can make a change in the pace of these 2 wickets standing. Remember, yeah, they might not be scoring a lot of runs. I mean, we are in the 9th over with only 38 runs. But on the side of the CPI Crusaders, they weren't able to get rid of. And that's a big shot. That was a full toss. But Alvin just couldn't get a hold of that one properly. Can only imagine if he did, that would surely have been punished for a 6. Cock on strike with the red pads. It's just playing down the ground. difference now between runs and ball faced by Alvin is 10 runs, 14 runs from 24 balls. Now that will be going up to 15 runs from 25 balls. You can only hope that he will be able to close that gap soon and cause a bit of exciting cricket for us. And then we'll change in shortly after this over, and we see more players going for that gazebo. And that is a gazebo of Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. They are sponsoring, or they're giving each batsman hitting a 6 against that gazebo 100 Rand today. So 100 Rand for grabs for every time you hit that gazebo. We can surely expect there will be a fielder right in front of it as soon as the 10th over starts. Oh, and that's another big shot coming towards us, but it's going to be fielded. And just a single run coming from that one. Gelden is approaching. Looks like he still tries to get some spin on that ball. We're going into the 10th over. The field is changing. The bowler now coming from came from the Tempe end. The other side will be the University end. And now we will see a lot more people going for that gazebo on the other side. CPI Crusaders probably will put their best catcher, put it right in front of that gazebo. And we can also expect maybe the bowling will change slightly to make it a little bit more difficult for the person either going to play into that strategy of the batsman going for that gazebo, or they're going to try and make it difficult for them to hit that kind of sixes, because remember, besides getting 100 Rand from hitting that gazebo, the team still get a 6 being added to their score. So there's a lot of strategy here now at play, and it all depends on what your opposing team is doing, or whether you are playing into that strategy or against it. But then will that be, no, that's well fielded. That ball was well on its way for a 4, but it didn't reach the boundary. There was a player in front of it who fielded brilliantly, returned the ball to the bowler. Another one, the ball is up in the air. It's going to be caught. No, it's not. It's falling in no man's land. But that ball was hanging in the air for a while. And that was an overthrow, a bit of a misfield. But Bloem Bombers aren't capitalizing on that. And we see that their projected score has gone up slightly to 98 runs. You can only expect them to hoping for a little bit more. And it is still Tommy Cock and Elman Potgieter at the stumps. Now going into the 11th over, we can expect 4 more maybe overs looking like this. Hopefully there will be some change in pace, but we can expect 4 more overs like this, and then It will be only 5 overs left, and if they've got all their wickets in hand, they might start swinging every ball coming their way. It all depends on their game plan. That's something that won't be shared with us. That's a close kept secret, and that is probably the strategy of every team, but we can only speculate of what they are trying to do now and what they are planning to, how they would like to approach this match. But it's Albertus Gelder's ace now. And that's a big shot. It's high up in the air. It's going to be caught. It can be caught. No, it's falling in no man's land. Two fielders picking it up, but that wasn't in the course to be caught. Looked like it from here, but no, it was too far away from those two fielders standing on the boundary. That ball dropped right in the middle between them. But it's Tommy Cock going for more boundaries. Yes, the ball ran to the boundary, but it's not going to make it. There's a fielder there. Stopped. And we can now see that the batsmen are opening up like we expected and what we hoped for. And Albertus Geldenhuis is going to try and stop that. But once again, it's Alvin Potgieter sending that ball to the boundary, but straight to the fielder. Albertus approaching. Another big shot is high up in the air. There's a fielder underneath it. And it's caught. No, he dropped it. Oh, that's a pity. That's a pity. Tommy Cock can be very happy about that. CPI Crusaders, they are doing a brilliant job of limiting the runs coming through. Unfortunately, they aren't able to get wickets. But as long as they can keep that run rate as low as it is now, they're not too worried about that. See the projected score now still hovering at 97. Tommy Cock on 37 runs. Alvin Potgieter on 20 with Jandre Nieuwoud bowling. We are in the 12th over. 58 runs without the loss of any wickets. And we'll feel some tension creeping into the Bloem side, where they will be wanting some runs now and desperately need boundaries. Can they do it? Jandre will try and stop. And that's another big shot. It's high up in the... No, that is a 6. Brilliant six by Tommy Cock. It's not close to the gazebo, but that is an extra 6 into his bank, in his piggy bank of runs, where he's going up to 43 runs from 32 balls, opening up that gap between the amount of balls he received and his runs. And he's also approaching his 50, which means he'll need to retire, and the next batsman has to come in and get into a rhythm of scoring runs. And that might take some time, so rather go for that 50 now. And if you're looking at the game change on the 15th over, yeah, that might be something that he's considering now. There's another big shot. It's high up in the air. Fielder is not being able to get to it. It's falling in no man's land, but it's being picked up quickly and returned to the bowler. The ball's getting a lot of airtime now. And that one's being played down the ground. John Ray. Another big shot. It's racing to the boundary, but it's going to be stopped. That will be a 4. Brilliantly by Tommy Cock once again. And he'll be pushing up that score of his, approaching his 50. Yeah, only 2 more runs before he has to retire. Exactly what we wanted. More boundaries coming through. You can only imagine how exciting the score will be in the 15th over. And we see that projected score has jumped up to 109 runs. Obviously want them at least 130, 140. Also, we have to take into account in this cold weather, the Bloemfontein cold, catching that ball. Oh, that one is up in the air. That is a 6. Another one. And that is how Tommy Cox goes into his half century, scoring a 6. And the spectators from the side just complaining that their cars are standing there behind that tree line on the back. And Tommy Cock will be retiring very happy, finishing his innings with a 6. Always spectacular. Coming up will be Eddie Engelbrecht. Let's see if he can take over from Tommy and continue that run rate which he ended with. Hy het soos 'n bietjie vroeër gepraat het, dit is nogal redelik koud hier so in Bloemfontein. Ons kan maar net dink dat as jy daai bal vang, is 'n harde bal, en op die vingers, as hy nie reg aan gevang word nie, dan gaan hy bitter seer wees. Maar aan die oorkant is daar 'n pers gazebo met 2 vlae aan die kante. Julle sal dit kan sien in die middel van julle skerm. Daardie gazebo is daar vir elke batsman wat hom raakslaan. Daai gazebo raakslaan met 'n 6. Kry elkeen R100 vir elke suksesvolle probeerslag. En dit gesien net vir die Bloem Bombers nie, want dit is alhoewel Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans vir die Bloem Bombers borg, kan die CPI Crusaders ook, as wanneer hulle beurt is om te kolf, kan hulle ook elkeen R100 kry. Ons het nou al so 'n paar grenshouwe gesien, maar nie een het al daar die gazebo raak geslaan nie. En ons heeltyd hier so na 'n ander meneer se bakkie toe geslaan. Was seker 'n groter Engelse woord reward daarvoor. Of hulle hou minder van hom. Nie lekker seker nie. Maar dit is die Bloem Bombers wat op 79 loopie staan sonder die verlies van enige spelers. Ons het nou wel gesien dat Tommy Cock nou al sy 50. Daar is 'n bal so op in die lug. Nee, hy kom agter toe. Hy gaan nie 'n grenshou wees nie. Maar die kolwers laat net vinnig 'n paar lopies net om 'n bietjie warm te word. Nog niemand het daai gazebo raak geslaan vandag nie. Ons kyk na die borge van hierdie wedstryd se lewendige uitsending. Dit gaan wees Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans en vir die CPI Crusaders, hulle is geborg deur CPI natuurlik. Hulle borg is in hulle naam, maar dan is daar ook Goodburger wat ook een van die ander borge is. Ons sal hulle borgkuns bietjie meer sien in die toekoms? Nou op die golfblad is dit Elvin Potgieter en Eddie Engelbrecht. En ons sien daai vooruitskatting van 'n puntetelling is 117. Natuurlik gaan die Bloembombers baie meer as dit wil hê. Hulle gaan ten minste by 130-140 wil hê. Maar net soos wat hulle weet wat hulle self kan doen, weet hulle ook wat die CPI Crusaders kan doen. Al hierdie mense is baie goeie vriende van mekaar, weet presies wat die ander span se swakhede is en hulle sterkpunte. En dit is wat die wedstryd elke Sondag so baie interessant maak. Daai spelplan verander gedurig. Hulle weet waar die persoon se swakhede is en hulle gaan daarop probeer kapitaliseer. Maar dis nou aan die beurt, dis Eddie Engelbrecht met Pieter Beekman met bal en daai bal is wip net bo oor die paltjies. Beekman. Die Engelbrecht wat daardie bal probeer wegslaan. Dit gaan op sy bietjie sy oog met inkry. Seker sodra hy dit reg kry, gaan dinge baie anders begin lyk. Wel, ons is in die 14de balbeurt. En daai bal hardloop na die grens toe, maar hy word gekeer. Daar's dekverdediging ook op die grens, so daar's geen kans dat dit 'n grenshou gaan wees nie. Maar die 15de balbeurt is 2 balle weg en ja, dan gaan ons heel waarskynlik bietjie vuurwerke sien. En niemand wat al daai gazebo raak geslaan het in die oorkant wat in die middel van julle prentjie is nie. Kan amper sê dit is 'n brawe man wat sy bakkie naby in daai gazebo gaan parkeer het. Wetend dat dit die mikpunt is om R100 te kry. Royal Finance, cash and term loans, waar dit baie uitstekende of 'n baie interessant maak om hierdie wedstryd bietjie leiersels te neem om te sien hoe gaan hulle strategie verander om daai R100 te gaan jag deur daardie gazebo raak te slaan. Niemand het dit al reg gekry nie sover nie. Mag ook dalk wees dat die spelers hulle wil nie vir die versoeking val om vir daai gazebo te slaan nie. Want ons sien ook nou nie eers meer 'n speler of 'n veldwerker, maar daar is 'n veldwerker net op die skerm net so bietjie links van dit. Daar is hy. Wat bietjie daar so dop hou. Net vir ingeval die mense nou bietjie meer gereeld vir daardie gazebo probeer slaan. Hy gaan nou probeer uitvang. En dis nou Wayne Pinaar wat bal in die 15de balbeurt. Hoe gaan die vuurwerke nou aangaan? En ons kan sien daardie vooruitgeskatte betelling is weer besig om te sak. Nou 113. Hooplik gaan die grenshouer nou hard en gedurig begin deurkom om daardie vooruitgeskatte puntetelling heeltemal te vermorsel. die Engelbrecht nou uitgewys, hy is lus om te gaan groot houe en hy gee so tree weg en hy slaat hom, maar die bal kom nie by die grens uit nie. Baie mooi gekeer deur CPI Crusaders. CPI Crusaders wat hulle veldwerk baie Engelsman tight hou hierso, want hulle wil nie enige lopies net gemakliker deurkom en hulle kry het briljant reg so ver in die wedstryd. En nog 'n groot hou wat grens gaan hy gevang word? Nee, hy gaan nie gevang word nie, hy gaan nie eers 'n 4 wees nie en die bal word teruggegooi na die bowler toe. Hierdie kolfblad wat natuurlik nou groot verskil maak, want daar is 'n mat wat daar lê, so die wip van die bal is anders as wat in die somer in Bloemfontein is. Vir party sal dit in 'n gunst speel of in 'n gunst stel, verander nou nie, hang af wat jou strategie is, wat jou styl is, hoe gewoond jy is, maar dit maak nie saak of jy nou gewoond is daaraan of nie. Vir die res van hierdie hele winterseisoen gaan LMS cricket op daai matte speel, so hulle kan net sowel gewoond raak daaraan nou en begin leer hoe om dit te gebruik in hulle voordeel. Nou in die 16de balbeurt, Bloem Bombers wat staan op 91 lopies. Nie 'n posisie wat hulle graag sou wou ingewees het nie. Hulle het nog al hulle paaltjies wat nog staande is. So met Tommy Kok wat na sy 50 gemaak het en met 'n 6 geëindig het. Baie mooi, baie taktvol en baie styl waarmee hy sy beurt geëindig het. Het sou net lekker gewees het om nog so 2 of 3 van hulle te gesien het. Maar aan die orde van die dag is dit nou net enkel en dubbel lopies, met so hier en daar 'n grenshou of 'n probeer na 'n grenshou, want die CPI Crusaders se veldwerk is briljant vandag. Elke ding wat beweeg stop hulle. Maak dit bitter moeilik vir die Bloem Bombers om grenshoue aan te teken. En natuurlik is dit ook nie net die veldwerk hier, dit is die bowlers soos nou Corney Boysen wat nou begin bowl het, wat ook baie naby die paaltjies is. So daar is geen kans vir enige loshoue of enige iets bietjie weg wat die kolwers se kans gee om die bowlers te straf nie. Nog 'n bal wat hardloop na die grens toe, maar is direk na 'n veldwerker toe. Hy tel dit op en hy gooi dit vir die paaltjiewagter stuur dit net aan na die bowler toe, wat natuurlik Corney Boysen is. Corney Boysen het al baie paaltjies in sy lewe geneem. Hy gaan weet wat om nou te doen teen Eddie Engelbrecht. Vraag is net, gaan hy dit reg kry? En hy het getip, daai bal hy hardloop na die grens, hy gaan dit nie maak nie, hy gaan spoed verloor voor die tyd. Maar dit gee ook die kolwers kans om 'n paar lopies te hardloop. Bietjie die koue uit te hardloop uit hulle bene uit. Maar is ook net soveel wat jy kan hardloop. Ons het nou nog nie gesien dat die manne wat nou die 100 meter rekords opstel, dat hulle so sprint vir 'n marathon nie. Ons kan ook nie dieselfde verwag van die kolwers nou nie. Die heeltyd kan sprint aan een nie. Op 'n sekere punt gaan hulle moeg raak. En soos weet, as jy begin moeg raak, dan gaan jou konsentrasie begin afneem en jy gaan begin foute maak. En natuurlik as hulle nou kolf en hulle konsentrasie is in die grond in, dan gaan hulle nou nie so lekker die bal gaan raakslaan nie, en dan kan hulle paltjie verloor, en dit is iets wat die kaptein nie wil hê nie. Maar dan ook nou, hulle het al hulle paltjies nog wat nog staan, insluitend Tommy Kok wat verklaar het met 50 lopies, nog net 3 balbeurte oor, en ja, daar is nie meer baie tyd om net meer veilig te speel hier. En enkel loopie van daardie probeerslag. Elvin Potgieter en Eddie Engelbrecht wat bietjie sukkel hierso teen die balwerk van die CPI Crusaders. En daai bal word gemis deur die pakkie wagter, hy hardloop, en dit is 'n grenshou of 'n grensbal. En dit is 'n ekstra 4 lopies vir die Bloem Bombers. Lekker om te sien dat Wayne Pinaar so 'n bietjie spoed kon gekry het uit daai kort aanloop. Hulle word natuurlik gelimiet op 12 meter aanloop om te bal. So hulle kan nie soos 'n Wolfers se Allen Donald of ja, noem hulle maar op. Fonnie de Villiers, daai manne, hulle het nie daai lekker lang aanlope om 'n baie vinnige bal te bal nie. Bal wat terugsaam word, hy word net reg uitgespeel na die grens toe, maar daar is 2 manne wat kan keer daar. Niks van daarvan afkom nie. Pinaar wat aantree. Daai bal is hoog in die lug en op. Hy lyk eers weer gevang geword het, maar hy is 'n 4. En die umpire Mohapi wys is 'n 4. Bevestig. Lekker om sulke houe te sien begin deurkom. Grenshoue wat van die kolf afkom. Hulle was baie skaars so ver in hierdie wedstryd. Pinaar is nog 'n bal wat nie lekker raak geslaan word nie, en hy bal gaan rol so 'n bietjie agter toe. As daar 'n slip was hy definitief gevang. Wayne Pinaar wat ook sy stempel afdruk in die wedstryd deur die lopies te beperk met goeie balwerk, wetend, en daai bal, dit gaan nog 'n 4 wees. Veldwerker wat net nie lekker daai bal kon gekeer het nie. Hy wys vir sy spanmaats dit is die son. Miskien dan 'n perfekte plek gewees om daardie gazebo neer te sit, want wetend dat veldwerkers wat voor hom gaan staan om 6 te keer, gaan ook moet meeding teen die son. Soos voorheen gesê in hierdie wedstryd, dat die Bloem Bombers word geborg deur Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. Hulle gee vir elke speler wat daai gazebo raakslaan met 'n 6, hele R100 vir elke keer wat suksesvol deurgaan. En dit is nie net vir hulle eie spelers nie, hulle doen dit ook vir die CPI Crusaders sodra hulle kolf in die tweede helfte van hierdie wedstryd hierna. En hulle word natuurlik geborg nou weer deur CPI, ook deur Goodburger, en dit is nog 'n probeer vir 'n grenshou, en dit gaan 'n 4 wees. Uitstekende kolwerk nou deur Elvin Potgieter wat 'n bietjie oopmaak in die laaste paar balbeurte van die wedstryd. En nou begin die grenshouer deurkom. Ons sien daardie teikentelling het nou opgegaan na 130 toe. Presies wat ons verwag het. Hooplik ten minste net nog so 'n bietjie 10 meer. Maar net aan 'n oog gaan hy gevang word. Nee, daai ding het net mis van die bowler. Boysen kon net nie lekkere hand by hom bykry nie. En dit gee die Kolbers net 'n kans om 'n enkel loopie te hardloop. And now it's Eddie Engelbrecht on strike. They will be going for a boundary with each shot, trying to hit that gazebo on the other side in the middle of your screen. That is a gazebo of Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans, sponsoring 100 Rand to every batsman hitting their gazebo with a 6. It hasn't happened yet today, but it doesn't seem as if the batsmen have tried to go for that all the time. There is a fielder right in front of it, but he also has to contend with the sun in his eyes. But there aren't many boundaries being hit today in any case. There were quite a few, especially when Tommy Cock batted in the until he declared for his 50. He finished his half century with a 6. Brilliant style. And now it's up to Alvin Potgieter and Eddie Engelbrecht to try and finish this game with at least 130 runs as a target score. You can see that that projected score has dropped once again. Now 127. And looks like the fielder or the bowler is trying to do something different now in the last over of the first innings. They'd rather take a wicket because as well as the CPI Crusaders have fielded today and limited all the runs, they weren't able to get one single wicket. So although the runs didn't come through, CPI Crusaders failed to take a wicket. So it's not a total loss for the Bloem Bombers. Remain to keep all their wickets in during the first innings of this match. Which meant they protected their stumps all the way. And now only two more balls. That is all that is left in this innings. Alvin Potgieter on strike. And it doesn't seem as if he even tried to go for a boundary. He just sent the ball on his way to point, and now it's the last ball. Now the option is ending the innings with a 6, which means it's going to be all, and he's bowled against the head. That's pity. That the previous match of Blue Bombers, they finished the innings in about 2 weeks ago. They finished their innings with a 6, with a home run. Last ball of the innings. And yeah, they did a brilliant job with that. Now we're going to take a quick break as the teams are going to swap. Next we'll be back. The CPI Crusaders will be batting with Bloem Bombers fielding. Just warming up a bit, and then they'll be back. And we are about to start the second innings of this match, and that will be the CPI Crusaders batting and Bloem Bombers defending. They will be fielding, and they will be defending that 126 target score of theirs. Didn't go as well as they would have wanted it, but nevertheless, you must also remember that it's extremely cold here in Bloemfontein. Prediction was for today is -1 as a minimum, 17 maximum. Right now, when it's supposed to be on its maximum, it's merely 13 degrees Celsius. If we look at the teams that are playing here for the CPI Crusaders, they've got David Cremore, Albertus Geldenhuys, Donovan Young, Pieter Beekman, John Nieuwoud, Corné Boysen, Wayne Pinaar, and Johannes Becker. On the side of the Bloem Bombers, they are being sponsored by the Royal Finance, Cash and Term Loans. On their side is Alvin Potgieter, Tommy Kok, Eddie Engelbrecht, Hendrik Brits, Perry Lambrecht, Paul Welgemoed, Henny Skeepers, and Johan Coetzee. And we saw that Tommy Kok, he scored his half century in the first innings, ended it brilliantly with a 6. And it's now, let's see how the game have changed. If you look in the middle of your screen, you'll see a purple gazebo on the other side of the field with 2 flags on either side of it. The rules of this match is, if you, besides the normal LMS cricket rules, is if you can hit that purple gazebo with a 6, each time you do that, you get 100 rand. We haven't seen many players going for that in the first innings. They might have tried, but it wasn't on. Yeah, they just didn't have the direction for it. Oh, and that was a bit of a misfield over there. Dropped catch. Bloem Bombers would have wished for a take a wicket so early on in the first over. Yeah, that was just not in the cards for them today. And yeah, some bit of excitement in the first over from the CPI Crusaders. They're quickly going to try and sort out that 126 runs. And let's see what they do with this now. At the pitch for CPI Crusaders is Albertus Geldenhuys and David Cremore. And it's Johan Coetzee bowling. Just a single run from that delivery, and we can see that the Bloem Bombers fielders, they aren't on the boundaries yet. So they're still trying, and knowing that the CPI Crusaders, they won't be going for the boundaries early on. They will be going for the singles and doubles until they found their rhythm, and then they'll move out a little bit later on, in maybe the 3rd or the 4th over. Umpire for this match is Moapi, Mr. Moapi. As Hendrik Brits going to bowl for us in the second over. First one is gone. Just a defensive shot there by the CPI Crusaders, or by Geldenhuys. Not enough for a boundary, but enough for a single run. Not a total loss. Hendrik Brits now moving his field as he works out his strategy to get some wickets. David not totally get a hold of that as he wished, and just a single run coming from that delivery. Ball being kept up picked up quickly on the boundary by the Bloem Bombers. Brits. Another defensive shot. And a single run from that. A bit of freezing weather here in Bloemfontein today. You can only imagine that it might have some impact on the game. Most of the players wearing some kind of body warmers underneath their shirts. And otherwise they will be extremely cold over there. We're looking at two experienced teams now facing each other. And you can go and look on our social media pages. There's a video showing who's everybody that's in the 100, or the club 100, the club 200, and the club 300. Now, obviously, that means a club that is created for all those that have played 100 matches or more LMS cricket. Also, the 200 and the 300. Now, in the club 100, there's about like 47 players right now, and obviously the stats are being kept by LMS. Let's just look at this delivery, and that's another shot being played straight to the fielder. Not enough to be a boundary, but enough for a single run. But carrying on from that video of ours, you will see that there's about, I think, 3 people that are in the club 200. And that is going to be a boundary. That's a 4. Going to make it? Is it going to make it? It just stopped in front of the boundary. And that was Alvin Potgieter who stopped that ball just in front of the boundary, stopping a certain 4 runs being added to the CPI Challengers or Crusaders team. Another ball that's up in the air, but nobody's close to that ball. And we can see that the Bloem's fielding is just as tight as the CPI Crusaders was in the first innings. Let's see whether the CPI Crusaders will be able to get a little bit more boundaries. It's not the lack of trying. That ball is up in the air. It's going to be caught. Well caught. Bye-bye, David Cremori. That shot got a little bit of, or that ball got a little bit of air. Being caught by the Bombers. Unfortunately, it wasn't his day today, but he did score 10 runs. Let's just see if the scoreboard is picking it up. Now he took him away already. David Cremori, a brilliant batsman. It just didn't happen for him today, but he put up an exciting show for us. And that's what we like. Die Bloem Bombers wat nou al klaar hulle eerste paakie geneem het hier in die derde balbeurt. Maar dan gaan beteken dat ten minste, alhoewel hulle nie baie lopies gemaak het in die eerste balbeurt of in die eerste innings speelbeurt nie, het daar geen paakies van die Bloem Bombers geval nie. CPI Crusaders, hulle val nou kliphard aan van bal 1 af, maar hulle het nou al 'n paakie verloor as gevolg van dit. Die telling wat hulle jaag is 126 en as ons kyk na die puntebord, daar word van hulle verwag om 109 lopies van 84 balle te maak. Hy bal is op in die lug, gaan hy gevang word as 'n bal onder hom. Bloem Bombers vat nog 'n paakie. sommer nog so een in die 4de balbeurt. Tweede paaltjie van CPI Crusaders wat geval het. Dit was Eddie Engelbrecht, kan nie wees nie. Was dit Eddie Engelbrecht? Nee, dit kan nie wees nie, want Eddie Engelbrecht speel vir die Bloem Bombers. En dit is die CPI Crusaders wat nou kolf. Bloem Bombers wat nou uitstekend vaar hierso. Hulle kon nou nie baie lopies aangeteken het in die eerste helfte van die spel nie. Maar hulle 2 paaltjies gevat hier teen die 4de balbeurt, wat beteken hulle is op slag om hierdie wedstryd gou te beklink voordat die CPI Crusaders by hulle teikentelling uit kan kom. En dis Brits wat bal. Nog 'n bal in die lug. O, dit was amper nog 'n vangskoot gewees. Net misgeval. Net amper nog 'n paaltjie wat in die grond in is. Maar nee. Dis nie altyd maanskyn en 'n rose nie. Partykeer kan dit daar ietsie verkeerd gaan. Dit het nou byna tel Brits nog 'n paaltjie. O! En daai bal is amper gevang deur die paaltjiewagter. En ek is seker Corneille Boys en Albertus Geldenhuys, hulle is nou soos die Engelsman sê, hulle cages are rattled. En die bal word net so 'n bietjie grondlangs gespeel. Maar daar is 2 Bloembombers wat hom gaan keer. Vinnig teruggegooi en dit is Bloembombers wat nou kop of neus in die lug loop. Of stert in die lug. Is daai LBW? Nee. Umpire Moapi sê nee. Hierdie keer die maat. Ons probeer weer. Hy staan op 'n posisie waar hy baie beter kan sien as wat ons kan sien. En as hy nie oortuig gesien, dan sal daar niks anders eers wat die telbord gaan oortuig nie. Teiken wat gejaag word is 126. En as jy kyk in die middel van jou skerm is daar 'n persgazebo aan die agterkant. Ons behoort meer spelers te sien wat gaan probeer 6 te slaan in daai rigting. Daar is 'n speler wat veldwerk doen reg voor hom. Hy het die son in sy oë, maar elke speler wat daai gazebo raak slaan, wen vir homself R100 vandag. En dit is die gazebo van Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. Maar nee, CPI Crusaders jaag daai bal na die grens toe. Dit gaan 'n versekerde 4 wees. Hy gaan nie verlei word deur die pers gazebo nie. Vir hom is dit meer belangrik om punte aan te tel of aan te teken en lopies bymekaar te skraap. Om 126 om presies te wees om die Bloembombers vir die wedstryd te wen. CPI Crusaders wat nou staan op 28 lopies vir release van 2 paaltjies. 2 paaltjies wat baie naby mekaar geval het. Net so 'n bietjie, dalk 'n bietjie verwarring, 'n bietjie bewarasies in die CPI Crusaders veroorsaak het, maar as die CPI Crusaders wat baie vinniger lopies aanteken as wat die Bloembombers aangeteken het. Engelbrecht wat aantree. Weer 'n groot probeerslag deur Boysen. Het nie lekker die bal beet gekry nie en hy het die bal misgevang. So ook die paaltjiewagter. En dit is net genoeg gewees vir hulle om 'n enkel loopie te hardloop, terwyl die bal agter die paaltjiewagter opgetel gaan word. Dalk redelik moeilik vir die paaltjiewagter om die wip van die bal te lees op hierdie sintetiese mat wat op die golfplat gegooi is. Maar dit is iets wat hulle moet gewoond raak, want hulle gaan die hele winter daarop speel. En as ons terugdink, vroeër die jaar, dis of hierdie jaar of die jaar voor dit, wat hulle wêreldkampioenskappe gespeel het, en SA kampioenskappe gespeel het, waar daar dalk die dag so 'n klein bietjie reën was, of iets wat nie lekker gewees nie, met die weer nie, en om dit te verhoed, sit hulle dan 'n mat op vir hom om te speel, en as die manne nou gewoond geraak het deur die hele winter om op hierdie mat te speel, is dit iets wat net nog iets in hulle agtersak gaan wees, as hulle weer in 'n ander provinsie speel. Dan is dit niks meer niets om op 'n mat te speel nie, en hulle kan planne rondom dit beram. Maak jou net bietjie meer veelsidig. Baie mooi aflewering daar deur Perry Lambrecht. Skuif net weer die kamera weer reg. Hy nog 'n verdedigingshou daarso deur Albert en Geldenhuys. En dis Perry Lambrecht wat probeer verwoesting saai onder die kolwers van die CPI Crusaders. Hy het 'n vinnige balaksie, maar daai bal hardloop daar die grens toe, gaan hy gestryd word. Die bal is gekeer net voor die grens. Maar die kolwers hardloop in elk geval 'n paar lopies. Perry Lambrecht wat van die universiteit kant af bal. En wat dan beteken die kolwer, hy gaan in die eerste 10 beurte gaan hulle kans kry om hulle gaan die hele spelbeurt kans kry om daardie perskasiebe raak te slaan. Dit is net makliker nou in die eerste 10 balbeurte, waarvan daar nog net 5 oor is, dan gaan hulle ruil, en dan kom van die ander kant toe, so, of dan word daar van die tempie kant afgebal. Hy bal hardloop na die grens toe, maar hy gaan gestop word voor die tyd. Nee, dit is nie 'n grenshou daai gewees nie. CPI Crusaders wat ook nog maar baie gekeer word om die grenshoue geslaan te kry. Dit het goed gegaan in die eerste paar houe, maar hulle was beloon met, gestraf met 2 paaltjies wat geval het. Hulle dalk so klein bietjie briek aangedraai met die wille houe. Ons behoort hulle weet te sien hier van die 15de bilbeurt af, hoe dit nou weer gaan lyk van toe en dan af. Net so 'n bietjie opwinding wat weer kan kom. And we are in the 6th over of the second innings. It's a CPI batting now against the Bloem Bombers. That was nearly caught by Eddie, and I just missed his fingers. I'm pretty sure if he got just a finger point on that, that would have hurt very much. The cold here in Bloemfontein, the predicted weather was -1 degrees Celsius, the maximum in 17. Just before the match, we checked the weather. It was 14 degrees Celsius, and it can all be probably be due to the wind chill factor, because it's a pretty cold wind coming through with just a breeze, just enough to cool you down to the bone or inside your bones. And when that kind of cold comes in, the best thing is to take a deep bath, drink a cup of coffee. Only way you're going to warm up here in Bloem. And CPI Crusaders now standing on 42 runs for the loss of 2 wickets in the 6th over, doing a lot better than what the Bloem Bombers did in their innings. There's an appeal there for looks like a LBW, but umpire Moapi says no. If he's not convinced, nobody's going to convince the scoreboard to pick up some more runs from that or send a wicket home. Umpire Moapi is the one to convince. He's the king of this match. Oh, that's what is up in there. He's going for good. No, that is a 6. He's nowhere closer. It's the 6. The umpire Moapi. No, Moapi doesn't confirm it, but it surely looked like the 6 from here. It is out of the grounds, so yeah, that is obviously a 6. There was no chance of it being caught. Yes, the fielder is going to pick it up, is picking up the ball in the parking lot. Actually a beautiful 6 there from Cornay Boysen. Also a man whose name featured a lot of times on the player of the match lists. And yeah, there might be a lot more coming from that now on, because I'm only chasing a score of 126. Always a gamble between chasing that 126, putting all your efforts in that, or because you always risk the got the risk of losing your wickets if you go, and that's what happened in the first 4 overs. And CPI Crusaders won't want too many of those happening too often. And it's Perry Lambrecht making things a bit difficult there for the Crusaders. Oh, Perry got a bit of bounce from that one. We're just moving the camera in a little bit closer. The problem is, the closer we move in, the worse the quality of the stream gets with the picture. We are limited to using our phones here, so we don't have that option of zooming in with a 200,000 rand video camera. But you will be able to see that gazebo in the back. That is a gazebo of the Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans, who are sponsoring 100 rand for each player that hits a 6 against that gazebo. It hasn't happened today. It wasn't a lack of trying. Some of the players did hit 6s. Few beautiful boundaries that did come here today, but nobody hit that gazebo. And yeah, we can see that the CPI Crusaders are racking up the runs here quite quickly, a lot quicker than the Bloem Bombers did. Oh, and that was another weird shot by uh, Boyson. He had a brilliant six earlier on. Now he tried to play it to the back, but he didn't quite pan out as what he wanted. It's Alvin Potgieter bowling. And that's one being hit straight to the fielder. If you look at the bottom of your screens, the bottom left next to the scoreboard, you will see that the sponsors of this match is CPI, and CPI obviously sponsoring the CPI Crusaders and quite a few other teams as well, and Royal Finance Cash and Term Loans. We will be seeing a lot more of these two sponsors from now on. Alvin, another try for a big one. Did he take that wicket? That is correct. That wicket fell. Moapi just confirmed it. And Bloem Bombers taking another wicket just as the boundaries are being hit once again. Breaking that rhythm of the CPI Crusaders. But they still have time. They still have 11 overs. Now that is 11 overs. That is where the 55 balls come from, which you can see at the bottom left of your screen. It's only 5 balls per over. 11 times 5 is 55. And that is where that 55 comes from. And the CPI Crusaders need to score 72 runs from that 55 balls. Will they be able to do it? They've only got 8 players in their team. All the LMS teams got 8 players in their team. And they've got 5 players left to score that 72 runs. Always a gamble. Do you risk going out and make runs or score runs a little bit slower? Or do you go big, rack in the runs, and risk losing your wickets? Many of these players, obviously, they play so long that they can defend their wickets all day long. But it doesn't mean they're going to score runs. And at the end of the day, it is the runs that determine whether you win a match or not. Scornay Boyson standing on 26 runs from 17 balls. Looks a lot better than the scores that Bloem Bombers had in the first innings. But it was only Tommy Cock who scored a half century, or declared with a half century, and he finished these innings with a 6. Brilliant style. Hopefully we'll be able to see that again today. Maybe from Scornay Boyson or Donovan Young. And that ball is being sent straight to Alvin Potgieter on the boundary. But that's not going to get any runs from that direction. Jenny Skeepers bowling. That is a full toss. Jenny Skeepers probably not trusting the bounce of these mats. So I'm not exactly sure whether he opted to full toss each ball or whether that was just a slip of the fingers. Now we can see that As soon as he made the ball bounce, he caused some trouble for Corne Boysen. Corne Boysen unable to get a hold of that ball. I can assure you he desperately wants to hit another 6. That's what he wanted. He was projecting that one. That is a 6. Confirmed by Moapi. Brilliant, as we expected from Corne Boysen. Well done, my man. Also a man that scored a lot of player of the match, or got a lot of player of the match awards in the past. Just go and look at our history on our website. You will see that Corne Boysen, as well as Donovan Young, had scored a few players of the match who got those awards. Did very well. Extremely good players. Loving the game. Corne Boysen only has 17 runs before he has to declare, so maybe we'll be able to see that today. But bowling for now is Henny Skeppers. We saw that the game has changed sides. The bowlers will now be coming from the university end. No, from the Tempe end. They've just finished bowling from the university end. And we saw an attempt at the backward sweep by Donovan Young. Didn't happen, but he can keep trying. There's no fielder on that side of the field. So if he gets that right, he'll be able to score a definite 4 runs. Alvin bowling. Another attempt, just the bounce of the ball that is just giving the Donovan Young a bit of trouble over there. And we can imagine the bounce of these mats are changing every week. And that's another big attempt. That one is going to be 4 runs, almost sure of it. It is stopped just in front of the boundary by the Bloem Bombers. Well fielded by Bloem Bombers. That is not 4 runs. He just picked it up in front of the line. But they'll try again. Another projected big score. Is it going to be out? That is out. Like we said earlier, you always risk. If you try to go for those big shots, you're going to lose your wicket, or you risk losing your wicket. The chances of losing our wicket is getting a lot more, and sometimes things like that happen. CPI Crusaders standing on 66 runs for the loss of 4 wickets in the 10th over. Will they make the 126 target score before losing all their wickets? That is a question now. And we've got a bit of a stronger wind now coming up. Also sitting under a gazebo now, and we can see that it is being rattled a little by the wind. And our documentation flying around, but it's all fun and games. And it's Alvin Potgieter bowling. His ball is up in there, it's not going to be caught, it's in no man's land. Going to be stopped on the way to the boundary. And Peter Beekman is off the mark. Bloem Bombers now on their way to take out these Crusaders. Is that another wicket? It's a big appeal. But the man that needs to be convinced isn't convinced. And that is umpire Moapi. That was the over for Alvin Potgieter. Now it's Henny Skipper's turn to try and take another wicket or two. Now gunning to take all the wickets before they reach that 126 target score. Will the Bloem Bombers be able to do it? It looks like it. You can see the cages of the CPI Crusaders are being rocked now, or rattled. Especially Peter Beekman, now fresh from the side, now trying to defend his wicket, being on strike. He hasn't had time to get his eye on the ball yet, so he's a vulnerable one now. Very good, just playing a defensive shot to get his teammate on the striking end, Konoi Boyson. He will be gunning for his 50. Still has 17 runs to get there. Maybe he'll be playing a little bit more conservatively now. Oh, that one is up in there. It's high, it's up. It's caught. Brilliantly caught. Well done. Caught by Perry Lambrecht. Another wicket from CPI Crusaders falling. And it's Bloem Bombers now with their tails in the air. CPI Crusaders suffering a 68 for the loss of 5 wickets. What looked like an easy score to chase is difficult if you don't have hundreds of players on the bench to keep coming in. They've only got 8 players, and it seems like the ones that they do have are struggling to score that 126 runs. Now we've got a very big wicket that have fallen. Just a temporary break there. Things are heating up on this field here in Bloemfontein. It's the CPI Crusaders against the Bloem Bombers. Bloem Bombers now with their tails in the air with 71 runs from 5 wickets. Bloem Bombers was defending 126 runs, and they're taking wickets left, right and centre as the CPI Crusaders are trying to gun for the target score. Not only batting slow, but they are losing the wickets. That score is going to be close. It's needing a 56 runs from 40 balls. Normally that wouldn't have been too difficult, but if you had tried to defend your wicket like the Bloem Bombers did, that could become a bit more difficult. And Alvin Potgieter just making things difficult for CPI Crusaders once again. Some encouragement here by the Bloem Bombers. And that ball is being played down the ground. That is going straight to mid-wicket. Alvin Potgieter bowling. And that's a big shot. It's in there. It's going to be a 4. That's not going to be stopped. Look. Beautiful 4 that was raised, hit by the CPI Crusaders, but they also on the same time they are defending their wickets. They're falling rapidly, making it difficult to score that 48 runs. That's only depending on what's going to come first, the 126 runs or the 40 or all the wickets falling. They can't take any chances with the catching efficiency of the Bloem Bombers. They're not dropping many balls. They've dropped the 1, and I think it was a 4 or 5 catches going through 4 catches, and they only dropped the 1. Another hard attempt for a boundary, but it's going to be stopped. Alvin Potgieter stopping that ball on the boundary, on the offside. Oh, Welcome it also spreading some disaster there on the CPI side. CPI Crusader side, making things difficult. But will the CPI Crusaders survive? Now playing a bit more sensible shots. Maybe that's all that is needed. Taking that singles and the doubles. They're not trying to risk anything unnecessary. Another big shot is going to the boundary. That is going to be 4 runs. Definitely, that's exactly what they needed. En CPI Crusaders, hulle wat nou briljant doen hierso, hulle is verskriklik onder druk, maar met daardie grenshou het hulle so pas net so bietjie meer druk van hulle afgehaal. Wat beteken, hulle kan bietjie meer konsentreer om hulle paaltjies te hou, want hulle het flink en vinnig verloor of geval tot en met nou. Bloem Bombers wat 126 teikentelling verdedig en 'n briljante werk daarvan doen. Bal Welkom, daar is nog 'n bal hoog in die lug, gaan hy gevang word? Nee, hy gaan nie gevang word, hy val in nou niemands wêreld en hy word gekeer net voor die lyn. Dit gaan nie 4 lopies wees nie. Mense wat nou ingeteken het, sal sien in die middel van jou skerm is daar 'n persgezebo spelers wat hom raakslaan met 'n 6. Hulle kry elkeen R100 vir elke keer wat hulle dit reg kry. Daai R100 word gegee deur Royal Finance Cash en Term Loans. Hulle is ook die mense wat die Bloem pommers borg. Perry Lambrecht wat nou net so 'n bietjie sy manne 'n bietjie rondskuif. Hy gretig nou om nog 'n paadjie te neem. Daar is nog net 3 oor vir die CPI Crusaders. Oh, dis hy gevang. Perry Lambrecht vang die bal. Wat deur sy eie balwerk, dit lyk asof hy 'n bietjie seer gekry het met daai bal. Briljante vangskoot deur Perry Lambrecht. Waarom hy sy veldwerkers rond gaan skuif as hy self die ding gaan vang, sal niemand weet nie. Maar die CPI Crusaders wat nou huil met nog 'n paaltjie wat geval het, en hulle gaan dit nou net nog 'n bietjie meer druk kry om die 126 teikentelling te vang. Ons het geweet dinge gaan interessant raak hier in die tweede helfte, maar ons het nie geweet dit gaan so interessant raak nie. Baie opwindend. Lekker om krieket te sien. Word jy altyd net uitdagend en lekker om te kyk, net as daar grenshoue gesaam word hier. As mens kyk na hoe die veldwerk gedoen word hierso, ook so belangrik dat die veldwerk jou wedstryd kan laat wen. Nie net om die lopies so min as moontlik te hou nie, maar om al die vangskote te sien wat die Bloembommers gevang het vandag. Meeste van die lopies het geval as gevolg van vangskote. En nog niemand het die perskusiewe in die oorkant raak geslaan nie. Ons is nog nie eers op die 15de balbeurt nie. En dit lyk asof die wedstryd so stadig maar seker na einde se kant toe staan. Is hy gevang? Dit is nog 'n paaltjie wat val vir die CPI Crusaders. Dit is umpire Mohapi wat dit bevestig. En dit is Perry Lambrecht wat se baie bly sal nou wees met 2 paaltjies geval in hierdie een balbeurt. Een self gevang, ander een deur die paaltjiewagter gevang. En die wedstryd wat nou vinnig na einde se kant toe staan. Crusaders 88 lopies vir die verlies van 7 paaltjies. Dit beteken ook nou dat daar 1 persoon is op die golfblad. En in LMS cricket se reëls hou hy aan met golf. Dit gaan net beteken wanneer hy lopies hardloop, hy gaan nou met 2 hardloop om veilig terug te wees in sy kampie. Wat net weer nog 'n ander tipe dinamika in die wedstryd inbring. Want hy kan net lopies aanteken deur hulle te slaan, grenshoue en te hardloop. Net soos al die ander kere, maar geen persoon wat 'n spanmaat wat hom gaan help het. En daai bal is oop in die lug. Gaan hy gevang word reg voor ons? Nee, dit is 'n 4, presies wat CPI Crusaders nodig het. Gaan baie bly wees vir daai. Gaan dit genoeg wees? Hy het die 4 uit die voorgeop. Daar nog 'n groot skoot. Hy het gegaan vir 6, maar gaan daai ding nie. Nee, hy gaan net die. Nee, hy het nie die grens gehaal nie. Dit is nie 'n 4 nie. Maar dit is nou Wayne Pinaar wat groot gaan, groot houe slaan, bal baie lig gee. Hy is nie lus om nie sy lopies te hardloop nie. Hy wil hulle slaan. Hendrik Brits wat natuurlik sy veld nou bietjie opstel om die laaste paaltjie te vat. Hy gaan presies weet wat hy wil hê, wie hy waar wil hê. Natuurlik het hy planne. Op Wayne Pinaar se skouers lê daar 'n verwagting van 33 lopies op 25 balle. As jy die laaste man is wat staan in laaste man staan cricket, is dit nogal 'n groot werk wat op jou skouers wag. Nog 'n groot hou. Dit gaan 'n 4 wees. Pragtig geslaan deur Hendrik Brits. Ja, jammer. Hendrik Brits is wel, maar Wayne Pinaar is nou net Wayne Pinaar al die pad. Hoe lank gaan hy kan aanhou? Hy gaan van elke bal nou probeer 'n grenshou slaan. Dit is net 'n kwessie van tyd voor hy iets fout maak en sy balkie verloor. Hoe lank gaan dit wees? Dit is die vraag op Bloemfontein se lippe. Wayne Pinaar het baie druk nou op hom. Groot verwagtinge. Nog 'n groot hou. En afvang hy. Hy word gevang. Hy gaan nie 126 haal nie. CPI Crusaders is uitgehaal. Briljant gespeel deur Bloemfontein. Nie baie lopies gewees in hierdie wedstryd nie, maar veldwerk wat briljant doen is. Balle wat een keer laat val is. Vangskote, almal geneem. En die wedstryd wat oor is, Bloemfontein weer 'n baie mooi wedstryd gespeel. Baie goed gedeur deur CPI Crusaders, baie mooi karakter gewys. En ons sê vir hulle, baie dankie, so ook vir die persgezebo wat in die oorkant staan, wat nie raak geslaan was vandag nie. Niemand het R100 gekry, te danke aan Royal Finance Cash en Term Loans nie. Maar hulle het die wedstryd geborg, so ook CPI. En ons gaan uitteken vir die volgende wedstryd. Daar sê die manne baie dankie vir 'n lekker wedstryd. Ek is julle host, Jurgen Smith. Lekker dag verder.